Let's talk about the Oscars.
Yes, nominations came out.
Yeah, they did. So we'll go through the nominations for most of the categories. A couple of ones that are of no real interest to us.
Fair.
Congratulations to them nominees, though. And then we'll talk about some big omissions and some of the drama surrounding the nominations. So starting off with actor in a lead, we've got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist,
Hmm.
Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Some people may be shocked at Timothy Chalamet being nominated for A Complete Unknown instead of Dune Part 2.
Mm.
I've not seen it, I can't comment, but a lot of people I trust on the interwebs have the opinion that he was much more impressive in Dune Part 2. Some people even suggested he should have been nominated for both of them. I don't know if that's against the Oscar rules, though. Would be very baller to be nominated twice in the same category for two different films.
Yeah, I imagine they
There's
can't.
probably a rule against it, right?
Yeah.
Actress in a lead role. Cynthia Umvaro for Wicked.
Hmm.
Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. Mikey Madison for Honora. Demi Moore for The Substance. And Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here. I think it's quite interesting that Demi Moore got one for The Substance, not because she didn't deserve it, apparently she's phenomenal, but The Substance was a horror film. It's not often you see many horror films get big nominations like that.
No.
So fair play. I know apparently it's an amazing film. It is on my list to get around to at some point.
Fair.
Actor in a supporting role. Yura Borisov for Honora. Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain.
Mm.
Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. So we're starting to see a couple of repeat names now. Honora,
Yep.
The Brutalist, The Apprentice. A Complete Unknown as well.
Hmm.
Then actress in a support role. Monica Barbo for A Complete Unknown. Ariana Grande for Wicked.
Mm.
Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. And Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. So again, it's like six
Yeah.
films have got nominated across these.
We're seeing a trend this year in the Oscars.
Animated features.
Mm.
Flow. Inside Out 2. Memoir of a Snail.
Hmm.
Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. And The Wild Robot.
Mm.
Now, let me be clear. I am okay with Wallace and Gromit or The Wild Robot winning.
Same.
I will bitch like a little baby if something else wins. If Inside Out 2 wins just because it made all that money, I'm going to lose my mind.
I don't get me wrong. I would love Wallace and Gromit to win.
I can accept that because I know it was such an impressive art style. It did so well. It was like the biggest release it's ever had in America. Like
it's the biggest UK TV film release as well.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
modern records. Yeah,
it absolutely deserves that nomination, and if it wins, it is a worthy winner.
But I would like the Wild Robot to win purely because like they've got snubbed a couple of times.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
But yeah, and aren't they like even at the Oscars they are the most nominated animated?
They're the most nominated animated film for a long time at the Oscars. I don't think ever, but they are like one of the most nominated animated films at the Oscars.
If you're the most nominated at the Oscars and you're not going to win Best Animated Feature, what are these judges smoking?
It's one of them, especially when like the Oscar, other than the animation, like the two animated the animated roles for a feature and a short, everything else is open bracket essentially.
Yeah.
Which means for it to get other nominations, it's had to beat out live action films, which, as we know, get treated like they're a higher form of art.
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, if this film was the exact same quality as a live action film, then 3 nominations are probably coming in at like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's criminal. Anyway,
wait.
I won't get angry before I have reason to get angry. Animated shorts. Beautiful Men, In the Shadows of Cypress, or Cypress maybe, I'm not 100% sure. Magic Candies, Wonder to Wonder, and Yuck. I've not seen any of these, but what that does give me is a list of animated shorts that are probably worth watching.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Uh-huh.
Lol Crawley for The Brutalist.
Okay.
Greg Fraser for Dune Part 2.
Yep.
Paul Gulahoom for Amelia Perez. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced these names. Ed Lackman for Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaron Bulshik for Nosferatu.
Oh.
I want to go see Nosferatu. I've not got around to it yet. Does anyone want to pay me to make it my full-time job to just live in the cinema? Costume design. Ariana Phillips for A Complete Unknown. Lissy Crystal for Conclave. Janty Yates and Dave Crossman for Gladiator 2.
Oh.
Linda Muir for Nosferatu. And Paul Taswell for Wicked. Now, as I said, we'll get into drama later. What I noticed as I was writing this up is A Complete Unknown, if you're not aware, is the Bob Dylan biopic. I really struggle to believe that that film has better costume design than Dune Part 2.
I wonder if there
Gladiator,
has...
Nosferatu, and Wicked make sense. They're the kind of films I'd expect to be in there.
Yeah. My only thought of like why Dune hasn't ended up in there is I wonder if there is like a minimum amount of costumes designs that have to be new, and obviously Dune Part 2 will have reused a lot from the first one.
Maybe. But it just seems like a weird one for it to not get nominated.
I get you.
It stood out to me. Directing.
Oh.
Sean Baker for Honora. Brady Corbett for The Brutalist. James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. Jacques Odard for Amelia Perez. And Coralie Fargrant for The Substance. This now marks the second time Denis Villeneuve has not been nominated for a direction Oscar for either of the Dune films, which again has caused a bit of a stir. But as I said, we'll get into all of that after we've gone through everything. But again, that is another interesting one.
Yes.
Documentary feature. Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, the soundtrack de A Coup d'Etat, and Sugarcane.
Haven't
Got to be honest, the title, Soundtrack to A Coup d'Etat, sounds interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the Sugarcane also, I'm like, oh, well, gonna be some weird jungle shit going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to know what this soundtrack to A Coup d'Etat is about. Documentary film about the Cold War that led American musicians to do something interesting. Okay, that does sound genuinely interesting. Might add it to the ever-growing watch list. Short documentaries. We have, I think, more interesting titles in this section. Death by Numbers. I Am Ready, Warden. Incident. Instruments for a Beating Heart. And The Only Girl in the Orchestra. They all sound so enticing. I'm Ready, Warden, I'm assuming is about someone on death row.
It's got to be.
That would be my assumption.
Yeah.
Film editing. Sean Baker for Honora. I didn't realise he directed and edited it.
Oh.
David Jansko for The Brutalist. Nick Emerson for Conclave. Juliette Welfing for Amelia Perez. And Myron Kirsten for Wicked.
Well.
Makeup and hairstyling. A Different Man, which is the Robbie Williams biopic.
Oh, yeah.
Amelia Perez. Nosferatu. The Substance. And Wicked. Again, them last three and A Different Man. Absolutely, they're the exact kind of thing I'd expect to win in competition for this award. I don't know about Amelia Perez to comment. Original score. Daniel Bloomberg, The Brutalist. Volker Bettelman for Conclave. Clement Ducol and Camille for Amelia Perez. John Powell and Stephen Schwartz for Wicked, and Chris Bowers for The Wild Robot.
Oh,
I will be going to bat for The Wild Robot here. I do not care about the scores of the other films. I don't care how good they might be. In reality, Wicked is probably going to win this. But The Wild Robot is beautifully scored. And if it wins, I will take that as a great victory.
I won't be surprised if the Brutalist one.
Quite possibly. Original song.
Oh.
El Mal from Emilia Perez. The Journey for the 6888. Like a Bird, Sing Sing. Mi Camino, Emilia Perez. And Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. And then Best Picture, Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
That is all we've got. The massive drama that I have seen most of online, and I do not have a lot of details about one of them, I'm just aware it is a thing, is surrounding Emilia Perez.
Right.
The Brutalist is a minor one, and Dune Part 2.
I mean, I've seen the stuff about Dune.
So the logic is the first Dune film got 10 Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2, I think, is by any metric a better film.
Yeah.
And has only managed to get 5 nominations.
Mm-hmm.
It is criminal that Denis didn't get a directing nomination again. 2 films in a row is crazy. It didn't get an editing nomination. So they're saying it deserves a nomination for best film purely based on cinematography? Is that what they're saying? That seems weird.
Yeah. Like, the editing one I can...
Sorry, also, nothing can makeup and hairstyling or costume design, which it's a space odyssey. Like, that's the kind of film that if it's good, you're like, well, that's going to be the 2 categories it's definitely nominated in, and it didn't get nominated in either of them. It just feels a bit weird. Original score was one that caused a lot of drama.
Well, yeah.
Because apparently too much of it was reused from the first film. Yeah. And I believe that drama got even worse when Wicked got nominated, because it's like, okay, but that was a stage show. Did they change enough for that to qualify?
Yeah,
and I don't know the ins and outs of the rules and how that works, but it's at the end of the day,
stage, it don't count.
If the people, if we the people don't understand the decisions, I think there is a slight problem.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of look past editing, and I could look past costume and stuff if they come out and say, well, not enough new costume designs or something. Like, I could understand that. But not getting the director one twice
is criminal.
It's the wildest of all those things. Especially, like you say, it's up for Best Picture, but you're not even going to recognise the director that has got it into nominated for Best Picture.
Josh Brolin had a very interesting reaction. I believe it was on Twitter or on Instagram stories or something he posted. It was like, I might just give up acting, because if he doesn't get nominated, I don't understand what the fuck we're doing anymore.
Yeah, if he's
and I think that says a lot.
If he's not nominated as the best director, and I consider him the best director, I might as well just stop acting. It's like,
yeah, maybe I don't have a fucking clue. The one with Emilia Perez is a much more sensitive subject, and that's why we're very delicate, because I don't know enough. Emilia Perez is based on a Mexican story, but it's a French film. It was made in France, shot in France.
Okay.
It sounds like the recounting of events are not maybe faithful, and dress up the person who might be the villain in the eyes of the Mexican people as the hero of the story.
Right.
Which has, in all fairness, resulted in a lot of people in America who are of Mexican heritage and in Mexico going, what the fuck? Yeah, it would be like the British, or no, not even the British actually, because we're involved in it. It'd be like the Germans making a film about what went on in Northern Ireland, and acting like the British were completely in the right. Is my
Yes.
understanding.
Okay.
That does not mean that's
Mm,
what happened. That is my understanding of why people are upset.
got you.
So whether it's a good film, whether it deserves nominations or not, is kind of secondary. I know a lot of people are like, this is a film that's claiming to be based on true events that is bastardized what actually happened.
Doing the
And
classic of based on true stories, but the like for that to be allowed in the thing, all they have to do is keep one thing the same.
yeah. So I know that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm just aware of that.
Yep.
Um, One thing with the Brutalist, which is a little bit techie, um, people are saying Adrian Brody should not be eligible for Best Actor
Okay.
because he has a Hungarian accent in the film,
Mm-hmm.
and that Hungarian accent was achieved via generative AI.
Oh.
I don't know exactly how it was done. I've seen a tweet from the director saying, yes, we used AI for the Hungarian dialogue. So there's parts of the film in Hungarian. And apparently that's when the generative AI was used. But he also said it was manually done by his team. And we're like, how can it be generative AI and manually done by your team? In the credits, they've got the required sticker saying generative AI was used. So it was definitely used in the film. But people are saying if Adrian
Weird.
Brody's Hungarian scenes, which is not a small part of the film,
Hmm.
was done by AI, he shouldn't be eligible.
Yeah, I guess
And
it's
I
weird
think
because
that's a
it's like,
valid complaint.
yeah, it then comes to like, this is where the whole AI stuff needs figuring out because you're going to get into the arguments of, did he record the lines in English that were then used in the program to train the voice so it sounds like him, but then turned into Hungarian? So, like, has he done, like, is his performance part of what trained to make the Hungarian stuff, or is it completely generated?
I get that, but even then, I'd say that's not good enough.
Well, no,
We're talking about like the
oh
biggest
yeah,
stage of
no,
the world. I personally would rather see Timothy Chalamet get nominated for two different
twice, yeah,
films,
no,
yeah, than see someone like
yeah,
that.
no,
Is it? Don't get me wrong, it's a techie one. Like you say, there
mm,
might be a level of it where they've actually like he's learned it in Hungarian and done it, and they've just put generative AI through it to just like
make sure it
tweak
sounds
the
correct.
just tweak the pronunciation slightly so it sounds native.
Yeah, like,
But even then,
but
that is tweaking his
yeah,
performance,
I agree
and
on like
it's
it
techie.
is a weird
It's
grey
really
area where it should be questioned if it should be accepted. But then
If we're gonna
this highlights the bigger issue of shit with AI needs to start. They need to start setting the rules and outlining what like how this affects award shows and stuff because this is the first film probably that the Oscars has had where AI has been involved.
at least
And
publicly aware
yeah,
of it because
well,
of
yeah.
the strikes and stuff.
So like,
Um,
there's going to be more going forward. Like, we know that the film industry is going to abuse AI. Like, there's
mhm,
no, unfortunately, there is no getting around that, and it's going to seep into some of these Oscar nominations.
absolutely.
So like, they need to figure that out quick sooner rather than later.
And the big one. Have you noticed what film that did quite well, and I still haven't seen? Not that that's going to help you narrow it down. Didn't get any nomination at all, particularly in score, which people were incensed by.
In score,
Yeah,
what came out that hasn't been nominated for anything there? Hmm, I am not sure.
Challengers
Oh yeah,
didn't get a single nomination
and
anywhere,
everyone's
and
raved about that film.
apparently it's phenomenal. But one thing it's consistently been nominated for, no matter what, has been
Yes.
original score, and it didn't even get a score nomination.
Hmm.
And people are in set like of
I
all
can
of like
imagine.
don't get me wrong, with like bigger dramas you see more outcry, but like
Yeah.
size of drama compared to outcry, people are livid about this. They're like, "What do you mean? Challengers has no nominations, not even original score."
Yeah, no, that's fair. Fair. Like
Yeah,
the amount of good things we've heard about that film and it actually hasn't got any Oscar nominations is wild.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest, and I don't know if it's not eligible for it
Mm.
because of the Best Animated Feature award. Wild Robot should have been nominated for Best Picture, if it's allowed to be.
I bet there's got to be some caveat
Actually, I'm just gonna
there.
Google it. Can animated films be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars? At the Oscars. Uh, Where? Why can I not just get an easy answer?
That probably means that it can.
It has happened.
Oh, there you go
It
then.
has happened in the past. Okay, cool. There we go. That is an official snub as far as I'm concerned.
Fair.
The fuck do you mean? Um, but yeah, that's it. I don't like. Don't get me wrong. We've discussed some of the drama around it, and there's always drama around the Oscar
Yeah,
nomination,
and
and
all award
I think that's a
shows.
good thing. But I think that's a good thing 'cause it means
Yeah.
people care.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to see. Obviously, there
Mm.
are a fair few of the films that have been nominated a lot we haven't got around to seeing this year. They don't fall in our wheelhouse, and we do cover a lot of stuff. But there are some that I'm pretty confident maybe have been snubbed here, which is crazy. And bearing in mind some of the like potentials that have lost out on nominations, and then you find out like Adrian Brody is a brilliant actor. There is no doubt about that. But finding out any part of his role had AI involved, I'm like, I'm not sure you
Yeah.
deserve that nomination anymore.
Yeah. Do you know who I'm glad I know for a fact did not deserve to be eligible for nomination? That's Madam Web.
I saw a tweet from someone. It was tongue in cheek, I know.
Uh-huh.
Going like notable films that didn't get any nominations, and it had a list, and then right at the bottom it was like Madam Web, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
It's funny because it's like before the nominations official ones come out, they obviously released what films weren't eligible to be nominated, and I remember Madam Web being in there, and I was just like, not shocked.
Yeah. But there you have it. That is our 2025 Oscar nominations. I believe the date of when it's actually going to happen is still being nailed down. Obviously, the LA wildfires caused delays.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've relocked in a date.
A
2025.
quick Google saying 3rd of March.
Okay, so they've locked it in for the 3rd of March now. Okay. It may get delayed again depending on what's going on with LA. But there we go. So we'll cover that when it happens, and we'll talk about who won what and how we feel about it. And when the wild robot gets robbed, I will burn LA down again. That's a joke.